It's all about truth. All of it. Every single thing. All boils down to the truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free. All right, we are live. Welcome to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dan Dix here from Press for Truth. We're going to be doing a AMA today on the Steemit post, and also taking questions from the chat. And the super chats get precedence, so leave your comments and chats in the chat section, and we'll check that out. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Literally 2 seconds after hitting go live, my neighbor decided to bust out the weed whacker and do some landscaping, it sounds like. So hopefully that's not too loud and you can still hear me. Now let me make sure that we are actually in fact live and see that I get some people tuning in. Make sure I'm doing this right. You'll have to bear with me. I'm using new software, new program, new computer. This is my first time streaming live with this particular setup. So hopefully we got things going properly and correctly. If you are watching, let me know. Pop into the chat. And then we'll get this thing going as soon as I know we're actually live and got this working the way it's supposed to. So I don't really see anybody tuning in yet. It says one person watching. Maybe that's just me though. So I don't know. We're gonna wait a little minute and make sure that we are in fact going live. But if we are, please share this to your Facebook, your Twitter. Get the word out that we are in fact live right now. Alright, we have somebody tuning in. Looks good, sounds good, Dan. Alright, good news. Let me expand this window so I can read all the chats. Alright, we got some people tuned in. Now bear with me guys, I'm going to post this to Steemit, my Steemit account, steemit.com/@pressfortruth. And I'm going to be refreshing the page there every now and then as well. And I also want to be sure to share this on Facebook and Twitter. And if you guys can do the same, just go ahead and grab the URL and tweet it out, put it on your Facebook, whatever you got to do. Let people know we are in fact live, and I will come back to these as much as I can and refresh the pages and see if we got any questions coming in from you, the viewers. Alright, let me get set up on Steemit and make sure we're good to go there. Okay, looks like we are good to go on Steemit. We're good to go on YouTube. And alright, we got a couple people tuning in so far. We've only got 4 people watching right now, which is odd. Usually, you know, within the first minute of going live, I've usually got about 150 or 200 people watching. So, again, I hope this is actually working properly. Lately, I've been doing a lot of the live streams more in the evenings, so maybe that's it. People in the East Coast are not home from their work day yet. That could be the case. But let me know if you guys hear me okay. Like I said, we got a weed whacker chopping away in the background. And if this stream is okay, I'm sitting outside, obviously. It was a beautiful day here in beautiful British Columbia, so I decided to do this one outside. It's really nice out. But I'm not sure if that's going to cause this to be choppy or laggy. But hopefully it's coming in pretty good. Rock says, I didn't receive any notifications, which I usually receive to my email. That's weird. Dominic says the audio is good. Alright, well, that's good to know. Well, Rock and Dominic and Christian and Cheyenne, I think it is. Maybe you guys can share this stream. Let people know we are in fact live. I'm going to see if I can do the same from right here. And we'll let people know we are live. Be sure to get your questions into the chat. Super chats will come first, as those of you who are familiar with YouTube live streams know that that's a great way to show your support financially. Hey there, really enjoy your videos, said Dark Hosis. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying the work, glad you're tuning in. All right, let me get back to the Steemit real quick, refresh this, and see that we are good to go. Guys, if you're not on Steemit yet, I would definitely recommend it. Steemit.com, that's STEEMIT.com, and you can follow me there at steemit.com/@pressfortruth. It has been tremendous for me in the face of the YouTube adpocalypse, as I'm sure you're all too familiar with by now, where a lot of my content is fully demonetized. I'd say on average right now about 90% of my videos are completely demonetized, and not only that, they're making it impossible for these to show up in people's subscription feeds. Even people who would select the little bell option and get all notifications are telling me that they're not actually seeing my videos in their streams. We got a question. Oh, Rock is saying, anyone here received email notifications about PFT going live? I doubt it, Rock. It seems like there's only about 14 people tuning in, and they probably just stumbled across this because, you know, we've been sharing it on Facebook and Twitter. Cheyenne says no, didn't get a notification either. And of course, there's the there's the landscaping going on again. Wouldn't you know it, just as I went live, we got somebody busting out the weed whacker. So hopefully that doesn't cut in on the audio too much. It's getting louder now, but it seems to be okay. And if this is getting choppy, let me know. I'm testing out a new, bit rate, trying again, brand new software, and hopefully it's working good. All right, we've only got 14 people tuning in. That's bizarre, because usually by now I've got three or 400 people by now, and right now there's only 14. So I think the censorship is starting to run rampant here on YouTube. As you know, they've been clamping down on me pretty bad. It was only about a month ago or so I received a community guideline strike for a video that was uploaded 5 years ago, and then I had to file an appeal, and YouTube had to review that particular video, and then they reinstated the video. So it's a mess, and I know it's just all due to the algorithms that YouTube picked up on certain keywords that were in that particular video. Crisis actor was the video, the keywords. Because I was actually debunking those theories at the time, because somebody made a documentary film, and in it they accused me of being a crisis actor involved with the Sandy Hook massacre. So I had to address that, and YouTube seems to have thought that I was promoting the crisis actor theories, and so I got a strike. But then I appealed it, and they re-reviewed the video and said, oh, you're right, our bad, and reinstated my channel. For anybody who's had their YouTube channels messed with, I would definitely advise you to appeal those. Lee, how's it going, Lee? No notifications. Yeah, that sucks. I've got like 20 people watching right now. Normally it's around 400. So the notifications did not seem to go out this particular time, and I don't know why. Really, really bizarre. Christian says, what do you think will be the next YouTube? I already know what the next YouTube is. There's a number of alternative platforms that have presented itself in the face of the YouTube adpocalypse. One of my favorites being DTube. You can find that at d.tube. And I'm there. You can also find that through my Steemit account, steemit.com/@pressfortruth. And DTube has been great because it's built on the steemit blockchain, which means censorship is virtually impossible because everything is uploaded to the blockchain and therefore can never be erased or deleted. So once your videos are there, they're always going to be there. There is room for censorship on DTube and Steemit in the sense that whales can buy in. If you're a multi-millionaire, you can purchase what's called Steam power, and that will give you the ability to influence what trends on the front page and what doesn't based on your upvotes. But it's still in beta. They're still working out all these kinks. But DTube is one of my favorites. There's also BitChute, BITCHUTE. BitChute.com is another really good one. They have a great feature where it's like an RSS feed, which automatically pulls my videos from YouTube. So I don't have to do anything in regards to uploading. It's simple. It's a piece of cake. And then the latest one I'm on is Minds. Minds.com is another video sharing platform, social media site in general. I'm using it for sharing my videos, and it's been great as well because it also pays you in cryptocurrencies, much like DTube. It pays you in Ethereum, Ether. DTube pays you in SBD, or Steam dollars as they're called. And right now, the last time I checked, one Steam dollar was trading for $3 US. So let's see what my Steemit post is at so far. Let me refresh the page. Over on Steemit, I'm already up to $3.22 SBD. So that's about $9 American. That's probably about $12 Canadian. In 7 days from now, I'll get half of that. So I'm already up to about $6 or $7 that I've made from this very post that's going to my Steemit account. All right, I'm on Steemit right now, looking at the questions and comments. Mausumiomu, not sure how you pronounce that. I always see you post and resteamed. Resteamed, done, sir. Thank you very much for that. All is well. Every day is beautiful. Good to hear, Omar. 1999. A very good post, sir. You are an inspiration to all of us. You really bring a lot of the Steemit community. Thanks for sharing. Well, thank you. I'm going to give that an upvote. And just by me upvoting that comment, I have now given this person $3, 3 SBD. Now, that's not coming out of my Steemit wallet. It's just generated by the website, which is such a cool way for you to be able to support the content creators that you like without actually having to spend anything out of your own pocket. It's really remarkable and revolutionary and a sign of the times that, as you know, technology is a double-edged sword, and we're able to use this technology right now to our advantage and to our benefit. So I'm going to go back to the to the YouTube chat and see if we have any more questions. What do you think would be the next YouTube? All right, we got to that one. Do you know anything about the Grand Solar Minimum? Asks Ryan. No, I'm not too familiar with that. Maybe you can fill me in a little bit in the chat and we'll talk about it. Do you think a non-free video sharing platform could be as popular as YouTube? One that ad and censorships wouldn't be a problem on, says Dominic. Yeah, I do think that. I'm not sure what you mean about non-free video sharing platform. People are not going to want to have to pay to sign up to a site, but on DTube, as we were just talking about a little bit earlier, you can get paid to post there. Not only posting, but if you don't post content and you just share videos, you re-steam videos or any kind of posts, maybe you like certain things or you leave a comment on one of my videos, and if you have a smart or funny or witty comment and a whole bunch of people vote up your comment, you will get paid in the cryptocurrency Steam dollars. And then what I do is I try to post every single day on steemit, because you get that cryptocurrency shows up in your steemit wallet 7 days later. So when I post every single day I have new Steam dollars to redeem into my wallet, and then you can use a cryptocurrency exchange site to exchange your SBD for Bitcoin or for any other crypto that you want. There's other ways to do it too. You don't have to exchange for crypto. You can get straight up fiat, old-fashioned cash sent to your bank account. You can trade it for gold or silver or any of those awesome tangible assets that you can physically hold in your hands, which I am a strong supporter of. I'm a big fan of gold and silver, more so than cryptocurrencies, obviously. There's a lot to be said about the, cryptos and the fork in the road that we're at currently when it comes to decentralized cryptos versus centralized cryptos, which the government is trying to now bring on more centralized cryptocurrencies. Countries like Venezuela, are launching their own. Russia. These aren't going to be decentralized, similar to a Bitcoin, for example, because they see that as a huge problem. Bitcoin, there is no central hub. There's no office that can be shut down. It's made up of all the people who are on the network, so millions of computers all around the world that are running the Bitcoin blockchain is how it's held up. So it's really a cool open source decentralized platform, and I've been learning a lot more about these types of decentralized platforms, which do seem to be a thorn in the side of the governments and the international banksters right now, who are trying to rule and control and manipulate us through their control of currency, how we issue currency to one another, how we interact with money. But under these decentralized platforms, we are now able to transact with one another peer-to-peer without the involvement of a bank, without the involvement of a government, with no third party whatsoever. It's really revolutionary and remarkable. Now I'm, always cautious, and as you should be as well. Something like this can be usurped. Maybe it was set up from the beginning by the powers that ought not to be, as a bit of a Trojan horse, styled move to get people off of fiat cash and into a digital one world cashless society, which is something I've been warning about for almost 2 decades. It's been about, 12 years on YouTube that I've been talking about this, but I've been talking about the coming one world digital cashless society since the late 90s. And as soon as I saw the implementation of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, I saw that as an avenue to the elite being able to achieve that. But the more I learned about decentralized platforms like Bitcoin, the more I realized that's not going to work for what they want, and they're going to have to destroy all of these, which I think will happen. Right now, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies listed. Some are better than others. But I think in the coming years, we're going to see all of those reduced just to a few. They're going to try to wipe them out, and then we're going to see one of theirs emerge as the go-to crypto for the world. Okay, let me check out some more of these chats. See if somebody says the volume is low. Somebody else says scream louder. Okay, well, I hope you guys can still hear me okay. I will try to talk a little bit louder. Somebody says, what is your opinion on chemtrails? Internet delusion and hysteria is what somebody says. Oddly enough, funny enough, chemtrails was the first thing I ever heard about in this movement, in my awakening process. I heard about chemtrails back in 1998. It might have been 1999 or so. It was a friend of mine at the time, a roommate, who was telling me about this, and I was just like, no, you're crazy. You know, there's no such thing. I mean, the government wouldn't do something like that. And then I started paying attention to the skies, and I started, I suppose the cognitive dissonance started to fade away as rationality came, and I, realized that these aren't condensation trails, like what normal trails are left by airplanes. Small water, ice particles, frozen water, turning into ice particles, which dissipate within minutes. Chemtrails, I would see last all day, and they would spread across the entire sky. And then, a few years later, I started learning about it on the internet. I started seeing, videos coming up. Back then, it was on, what was it called? Google Video, I think it was, before YouTube. And a friend of mine at the time actually gave me a box of VHS cassette tapes full of these documentaries. There were some Alex Jones documentaries in there. This is before 9/11. This is before the year 2000. Right around the year 2000, I got this big box of VHS tapes that my friend gave me. One of them was an interview with David Icke and John Rappaport. Really old. This is the first time I heard about those guys. It was in 2000. One of them was a Jones film. I think it was Order Out of Darkness, maybe it was called. The one where he infiltrates the Bohemian Grove, whichever one came out around 99 or 2000. And then there was some videos on chemtrails as well. So to answer your question, no, I don't think it's internet delusion or hysteria. I do believe there is something to it. There's some great documentaries out there now. What in the world are they spraying, and why in the world are they spraying? There's another one. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. Frankenskies, I believe it's called. There's a number of great informational videos out there which would explain exactly what's going on with that. So I'd strongly recommend you check it out. Number one, Mattman says you just got notified. Okay, good. It's finally starting to work. As I said, normally when I go live, I get, 200-300 people tuning in within the first 5 minutes. And right now, it's been 23 minutes that we've been going, and I've only got about 80 people watching. So I don't think this is showing up in people's subscribers feed. I don't think people are getting the notifications, but maybe you're getting them now, as you said. Okay, gonna go back to the chat window and see if we got any more questions. Ascendius says, it's the banks. Yep. Not a big fan of the banks, as you can probably guess. Greetings, you fabulous earthlings. Happy Wednesday, and I also bring thin crust pizza with Kato. Friendly cookies for everyone. Enjoy. Oh, very nice. Karmic Wheel. That's great. Thanks for the great work, Dan. This your day. Keep waking us up. Peace. Thank you, Lee Courier. Much appreciated. What's your opinion about Iranian government wanted out of petrodollar and looking for other currencies, especially the petro yuan? Is that why MSM demonized Iran a lot more too often lately? Great question. Truth matters. Yes, I do think that Iran is currently in the crosshairs because of their position on, the U.S. dollar and the petrodollar, and the fact that there's no Rothschild controlled centralized banking system there. I've always said for a while now that they have to get through Syria first before they get to Iran because of certain alliances there, certain strongholds with Hezbollah. And so I think there's, a progress that they see as a stepping stones route to the battle with Iran, and Syria comes first. And we're certainly seeing the massive attack on Syria right now. So I think what this is leading to is regime change not only in Syria but also Iran is going to be next on the line. It goes back to that video where what was that guy's name? Clark, I think. The guy who was privy to what was going on in the Pentagon, and somebody told him that they were given a memo that there was these list of countries that were going to be overthrown within, I think it was a 5-year period, and it's been more than 5 years now, so they're behind on the plan. But all of these countries were listed, and we've already seen them topple a number of them. Iraq, Libya, a lot of these secular dictatorships have been overthrown, and they're installing their democracy and controllable puppets in the Middle East to provide the illusion of choice for people over there, just like they've done to us here in Canada and America. So yeah, great question. Wesley Clark, thank you. Dark Hoises, yes, I do believe that was the one. Peter J. Williams says, great interview with Ed Asner. Thank you. I'm glad you liked that. Yeah, that was cool. That was an interesting opportunity that presented himself. My friend James is connected with Ed, and he was in town here in Vancouver putting on some sort of show, performing live on stage, doing something to do with cancer awareness. I'm not exactly sure. But while he was in town, I figured, hey, why don't I go sit down and talk with this guy and interview him about 9/11, because I know he's been so outspoken about that in the past, and especially for someone of his stature and someone coming from Hollywood, pretty cool move, pretty cool move on his behalf to speak out about 9/11 truth. As you probably recall, as I said in the interview, I was like, hey, I wonder if there's other people in Hollywood who are doing, are aware of what, took place on 9/11, and the fact that the official story, the official narrative has so many holes in it. It's like a piece of Swiss cheese, and maybe they're not talking about it out of fear of never being cast again. And he said, oh, I'm not too sure about that, but I do believe that is likely the case. If you guys haven't seen that one, check it out. I believe I titled it Reopening the 9/11 Investigation with award-winning actor Ed Asner. I just posted that one yesterday, I believe it was. So yeah, thank you for that. Okay. See if we got any more questions coming in. I think you are plausibly right, Mattman. Not sure what that's in reference to. What is your opinion about the new documentary Dominion? Can you make a video about it? Says Mario. I've never, haven't heard of this. I'm not too sure about what Dominion is or what it's all about. Maybe you can give me a heads up right now in the chat section, and yeah, we'll talk about it. Never heard it. Certainly haven't seen it. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to watch a good documentary in a long time. I'm producing daily video content on my YouTube channel, and I research all day and edit and upload all day, and then come evening time, I just kind of find time to chill, but I want to find some good new documentaries to watch in the evenings when I do get that little bit of spare time that I have. So maybe I'll check that one out. Dominion. Never heard of it. Okay. Someone says YouTube in 5 years will only be CNN cat videos and somehow still PewDiePie, but his videos are 2 minutes of cats. Yeah, YouTube is going down the tubes, man. It's been pretty bad lately. The censorship is rampant. As I said, I'm getting so many people telling me that they're not getting my stuff in their feed. I've got 165,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I'm averaging like 3 or 4,000 views a video. And I know I'm banging out, decent content. My interview with that Asner yesterday, I mean, that's sitting at around five or 6,000 views. You know, obviously people are not getting my videos in their subscription feed, even when they click on that little bell button. So it sucks, and that's why I've been migrating over to sites like BitChute, Minds, DTube, DLive, Steemit. Speaking of Steemit, let me head on back over there, refresh the page, and see if we have any new questions coming in from my fellow Steemians. I'm already up to $4.64 SBD, that's Steam dollars, which I can redeem half of in 7 days from now. So if you're not on Steemit, guys, I don't know why you aren't. It's crazy. It's been really, really good. Okay. All right, we got a question from C the Prince. Can you tell us about the benefits of cannabis or CBD oil and what future it might have in Canada? Sorry for my ignorance on the topic. Well, that's a great question. This is something I'm highly involved with here in Canada. In Canada is the cannabis community. In fact, my girlfriend, my fiance now, works at a dispensary, works for one of my sponsors at Press for Truth, Liberty Farms, and libertyfarms.ca. She also works at their dispensary, Grassroots Medicinal. Notice the names, Liberty Farms, Grassroots Medicinal. These guys know what's up. And to answer your question, the benefits of cannabis or CBD varies for different people, but certainly there are medicinal benefits that are going on that a lot of people may not be aware of. In fact, where it's legalized in certain states in the U.S. for recreational use, what people don't realize is, in the way I see it, is it's all medicinal. Whether you're using it recreationally or not, you're gonna be receiving the medicinal benefits. Now, CBD, as you said, is a compound within the cannabis plant, just like THC, most people may be familiar with. Well, CBD is another compound. There's thousands of them, really, but CBD has been found to help with all sorts of ailments, pain, epilepsy, various cancers, opioid addictions, these types of things, and it doesn't have the psychoactive properties to it. So if you want to get pain relief, if you want to try to deal with some of those issues I just mentioned, but not be high all the time. There's old ladies who want to use this, but they don't want to be getting stoned. There's, professionals in the workplace who got their regular 9 to 5, and they would love to use cannabis. CBD is the answer. You can now get strains that have been engineered, grown in such a way that are high CBD content with low THC content, giving you the ability to get the medicinal benefits for pain and for things of that nature without actually getting high. So CBD is great in that respect. Continuing on your question, you're asking what future it might have in Canada. Well, that one is sad to say right now. It's not looking very good. Most people are aware that legalization is looming. It's going to be happening at some point here in Canada. They said it was going to happen last year, and then Trudeau said he was going to legalize it upon being elected. But I've been warning all along his campaign trail that it was a lie, it was a false promise. He was using the weed ticket, as I call it, to get himself elected. And he's going to continuously push legalization back, push it back, push it back. We were told legalization in Canada was going to happen on July 1st of this year, Canada Day. And now we're finding out that that has been pushed back. Surprise, surprise. Again, something I've been warning about. Because they just introduced new regulations and laws that have to be voted on. And if there's going to be they're going to be voting on this on June 7th. And then if there's amendments to the acts, amendments can take up to 10 to 12 weeks to go through. So we're talking potentially 3 or 4 months after June. So it's probably not going to happen until the end of the year, maybe even until 2019. It's probably not going to happen until Trudeau is on the campaign trail again, so he can still ride in on that weed ticket saying, this time I'm going to legalize it. We had all these things to work out. We got them all worked out. Now, if you vote for me, I will get it done this time, I promise you. But again, to answer your question, what they've been doing behind the scenes is monopolizing the industry. They have been doing what they can to wipe out the mom and pops. The people here in British Columbia who've built the industry over the last couple of decades. BC Bud is a globally recognized brand for its quality. And what they want to do is usurp that, wipe these people out, take over the strains, reduce the medicinal benefits, and then only have LPs instead of DGs, it's called. So a DG is a designated grower. As it has been for quite some time now, cannabis use in Canada has been legal for medicinal use since, I think, 2001, a long time. And you could have a designated grower produce your cannabis for you. What they want to do is move from DGs into LPs. An LP is a licensed producer. And the only people getting the licenses from the government are their insider fat cat crony capitalist buddies, some of whom know nothing about cannabis production and how to produce a quality medicinally beneficial plant. And that's what we're seeing right now, is a takeover of the industry. It's a monopolistic takeover. And I just made a video about this the other day, where I pointed out how I warned the Emorys, Mark and Jody Emery, the self-proclaimed Prince of Pot, who championed for Justin Trudeau and the Liberals because he was single-minded, as he said in my interview, which he walked out on me, that he had one goal, to vote in Justin Trudeau so that he could secure his legacy as having something to do with the legalization of cannabis in Canada. And I warned him. I said, this is a bad idea. This is dangerous. You don't even know what his plans are for, the Bank of Canada or wars in the Middle East, or not to mention the fact that he's not going to do the things you want in terms of legalization. And, he now famously said, your concerns are not my concerns. And here we are a couple of years later, and he's very concerned right now because he's starting to see everything I warned him about, but that he didn't listen to. Let me get back to the steemit chat and make sure I've answered that question in full. Yeah, so we talked about the benefits of CBD oil, cannabis, and the future that this has in Canada. If you want to get a good breakdown of it, I made a documentary about this. Well, it's a 10-minute long YouTube video, but it plays like a documentary. And it's called The Trudeau Deception. And I laid it all out, what was going to be happening with the legalization of cannabis in Canada, and it's all coming true, to a T. And it's not like I have some sort of crystal ball. I just, I do my research, and, I have a good knowledge of how these things have operated in the past. And when you understand these things, it's easy to see where they're going to take it, and why I just dismissed Trudeau's promises of, what was going to be happening with the legalization of cannabis in Canada. So I would strongly recommend you guys check out Liberty Farms, libertyfarms.ca, sponsors of us here at Press for Truth. And if you're in the BC area, come on down to Grassroots Medicinal. It's in the Garibaldi Highlands of Squamish, British Columbia. Squamish is a beautiful little town where I live right now. It's in between Vancouver and Whistler, if that gives you an idea. It's about an hour drive outside of Vancouver, about an hour, hour and a half outside of, about an hour outside of Whistler as well. So it's kind of in between Vancouver and Whistler on the drive. Beautiful drive, one of the most top 10 scenic drives in all of North America. I'm going to be doing that drive a little later today. Heading into the city today. But yeah, check out libertyfarms.ca. Cannagrowers.ca is for the growers in BC and anybody who's involved in the industry who wants to go up against the Liberals and fight for real legalization, which should resemble something more like decriminalization all out. The cannabis plant should be on par with blueberries. I was going to say coffee, but then I was like, no, wait a minute, coffee's addictive. Cannabis is not. It's not physically addictive like coffee is. So I'd say it's more on par with like selling blueberries or strawberries or something like that. But again, they're heavily regulating the industry. The new regs were just announced a few days ago for what it's going to be like here in British Columbia. On the surface, it sounds good. Certain things, minimum age, I think they said 19. Not that that's a good part, but I don't have a serious issue with that. But the problem I have is that they say they're going to allow private businesses to operate in conjunction with the government-run businesses, but they make it sound like it's going to be a free, open, fair market, but it's not at all. These private businesses are going to have to only sell the government-issued cannabis, which, as I said, is coming from GMO seed. It's heavily irradiated. They've reduced the medicinal benefits. And, you might still get high from it, but you're certainly not going to get any of the benefits that you get from CBD because they're engineering the plant to not have any of that because they're in cahoots with Big Pharma. So there's a lot of things they need to do before it gets legalized. They have to give all the licenses to all their insider buddies. They have to get the GMO, Monsanto-issued GMO seed. They have to reduce the medicinal benefits to please their pals within the big pharmaceutical industries so that people are not curing themselves of cancer and curing themselves of their opioid addictions and, not having epileptic seizures anymore and things of that nature. Big Pharma, as you know, is $1 trillion industry, and that could all crumble if cannabis gets legalized in the way we want it to. So I think that probably answers your question. Let me know if anybody has more on that, and I will elaborate. I'm going to get back to the YouTube chat here. I haven't looked at it in a while, so there's tons of comments and questions floating by. So let me just scroll up, see what I missed. See if we got any more questions coming in. Anybody invest in Bitcoin? It says number one, Mattman. I have. Well, I mean, I sell my Steam dollars for Bitcoin often. And I haven't paid anything to get the Steam dollars. Mattman asked, Dan, did you take your cash out of the bank last month after that video about it? Yes, I did, interestingly enough. I have a couple of bank accounts, and I went and did it at one in particular, completely emptied it at, well, I shouldn't say too many. I don't want to give everybody too much information. I guess I could name it Royal Bank. Screw them. It was funny, the look on the teller's face just saying, I want to take everything out and close the accounts and everything. And she was baffled with why I'd want to do such a thing. And she asked why, and I just said I just want to have a zero balance and not have to not deal with you guys anymore. So I did do that. I kind of wish I documented it. I should have filmed it. But there's sometimes kind of iffy rules when it comes to secretly recording people in a private business. So I didn't film it. But yeah, I removed everything from Royal Bank and no longer have any of my fiat stored in there. Okay, let me scroll through, see what other, lots of comments obviously, and I'm just looking for some question marks. Here's one, Ken W. If you could interview one person, who would it be, and what one question would you ask? Gosh, I don't know. That's a really good question. That's interesting. I never thought about that really. Who would I if I could? When I think about it now, I would probably go for one of the people I've been trying to expose for the last 2 decades. It wouldn't be a promotional piece, obviously. I would try to want to question. Maybe Jacob Rothschild or something like that. Have a sit-down one-on-one interview and just ask him, do you think it's good, what you're doing to the world? And try to ascertain whether there's a cognitive dissonance there, and find out if these guys are ultimately deceived by the spirit world that control them, just like Hitler. I mean, he thought he was doing a good thing. I think he believed that by doing what he was doing, that it was advancing the world into a better place. That's what he thought. And I'm sure it's the same with the likes of the Rothschilds, who just consider us to be the goyim, the useless eaters that need men like them to control every single aspect of our lives. So yeah, I would love to get something like that on the record. Thanks for the question. Okay. Kyle Reese says, did you listen to William Cooper back in the day? Yes, I did. His book Beyond a Pale Horse was one of the first books I read. When I started delving into all of this, I immersed myself in books back in 98, 99, 2000. I've got a pretty big collection, and that one, it's not a very easy read. It's not a simple read. Let's just say that. But yeah, big props to Bill Cooper. Very, very interesting. Yes, I did listen to some of his stuff on the internet back in the day, but mostly I was reading about him back then. All right. Let's see what else we got here. How can we be sure you're not a government plant, Dan? Says G-Man C77. Well, I guess you can't be sure. I'm glad you're asking those questions. I've been accused of that more and more over the years. It's usually a sign that you're doing a good thing when there's more haters and more people accusing you of being a government shill. But I don't know how to convince you of that. I can assure you I'm not. But I know you're not going to just take my word for it. So I guess just do your own due diligence. My work speaks for itself. Go back, watch every single thing I've ever done, and try to decide, is this key bono? Who's benefiting? Is it the government, or is it freedom-minded individuals? And I think you'll see it's freedom-minded individuals who are benefiting from my work and not the government. So it doesn't make sense that I could be a government shill. But I don't know. I take that accusation with a grain of salt and a bit of honor, a badge of honor, really. That I'm probably on the right track when I get more of those accusations. But you're doing the right thing by asking those questions. You know, I'd be skeptical of anyone you receive information of. Take it all with a grain of salt. Do your own due diligence. Do your own research, and don't take my word for things. I'm just a guy on YouTube presenting my thoughts. I do a lot of research. I make documentary films. I present them in video form, and I hope people will take that and add it as a slice of the pie in their research, you know? Um, but I guess to answer your question, how can we know if I'm not a government plant? I don't know. I don't think you can, unless you've known me personally, like my family members and close friends, they all know. Um, Just a Girl says I wasn't notified. I saw it on the homepage feed. Yeah, I've got 91 people tuning in right now. Normally it's around, 4 or 500 at least by this time. So yeah, the notifications haven't been going out today. Um, Maybe it's all part of the YouTube censorship that I'm seeing. But yeah, nobody seems to have been notified that we were going live today. So not a whole lot of people watching, but that's fine. More intimate interactions with you guys who have managed to find me here. Okay, let me see what else we have. Rock. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name. How do you see the future in approximately 15 to 20 years' time? Do you think we will live in a more free world, or will the elite even more censor and behave like dictators? You're not going to like my answer, Rock. I see things getting a lot worse before we see it getting better. And I think on a timeline like that, things are going to be a heck of a lot worse than they are now. You know, mind you, this is why I try to raise awareness about these things to try to stifle their efforts. Um, but I don't see this going in a very very great direction. And my goal is to wake up enough people to realize what the ultimate solution is, because I ultimately see this as more of a spiritual warfare game, and I think it comes down to the battle for souls, really, and as the Bible said in end time prophecies, which I'm a student of. I'm very interested in that type of thing. I research my Bibles, the most fascinating book to me in the world. And it certainly says things are going to get a heck of a lot worse. It spoke of the one world religion, the one world government, the one world cash system, where nobody can buy or sell unless they have the mark. I'm sure people are familiar with that. I believe that is going to happen. So to answer your question, 15, 20 years from now, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot worse than it is now. And that's why I try to plant those seeds, so to speak, and let people know that this is a game of spiritual warfare, and we have to reconnect with our Creator, because mankind has turned their backs on God for the most part, and that's pretty much why things are going down the tubes. So that's why that's what I speak about. In fact, I gave a talk on that at the last Anarchapulco conference in Acapulco. I gave about a half-hour presentation, and that was my message. I'm going to post that on YouTube as soon as it's available to me. I think my title for that was "The Truth About the Endgame: How Marxist Ideologies and Secularist Principles Are Creating a Communistic Atheist New World Order." It's a long title for a speech, but that's what I talked about, and that's what I believe in, and I'm going to be posting that probably in the coming months, as soon as the Anarchapulco crew posts it for their promotional purposes to promote the 2019 conference. They're going to share my speech, and as soon as they do, I'll share it with you guys. so you can get the gist of what I mean by all that. Number one, Mattman says, Dan's not a shill. He's not hiding nothing. Very brave soul. Thank you. And you gave this much love and appreciation. Thank you so much. Good work, Lee, with the videos, says Luke Briers. Yes, Lee. She's probably still tuning in right now, I would think. And she's been fantastic. I've basically brought her on officially as a PFT, a part of the team here at Press for Truth. She is my East Coast correspondent at the moment, and she's helping me in a lot of ways. She has access to my the Press for Truth Twitter account, the Press for Truth Instagram account. Access to my. I think I've made her a manager on my YouTube channel. If not, I will be. Yeah, she's going to be starting to produce more video content. Right now, she's doing approximately one video a week or so. But she has a day job, just like most, and we're doing our best to get to the point where I can officially hire her full time, and she can quit the day job and just go PFT full time. But there's a few things that need to happen before we can make that happen. But God willing, that's where we'll be in a short period of time from now. Be able to have her doing a lot more videos, and myself as well. I want to triple my video output. Quality comes over quantity. I'm not interested in just tripling it just to bang out videos, but I want to bang out good videos, and I want to hire an editor. I want to hire on a full-time East Coast correspondent, Lee, and these are some of the goals that I have for 2018. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, more people saying they're not getting any of the notifications. Yeah, YouTube censorship at its finest. Okay, all right, it just refreshed and there's like tons of new comments. It must have been frozen. Okay, let me see. Somebody, I'm just scrolling up now. I'll get to all of these. Somebody says, have you met Mark Passio? Yes, I have met him. I tried to interview him, and he brushed me off about 3 or 4 times. I introduced myself and said, hey, man, I'm Dan from Press for Truth. He said, yeah, I know who you are. I'm like, oh, cool. Can I do an interview? And he's like, oh, I'm just about to go do this. Come hit me up, later over in this area. And then I went and hit him up later in that area, and he said, oh, man, just about to go eat now. Maybe you can try me later. And then coincidentally, I ran into him at the restaurant where he was eating, and I had all my gear with me. So I waited till he was finished eating, and the people he was sitting with left. And he was sitting there all by himself, paying for the check. And I said, hey, can we maybe do that interview now? And for some reason, he brushed me off again. I really don't know why. I got nothing against the guy. I wanted to question him on what he thinks about Jesus Christ and his role in the spiritual warfare. Mark talks all about the occult all the time, and if you're exposing the occult and you're not aware of what's going on in regards to the spiritual warfare that we're engaged in, then you don't really understand what's going on at all. And that's what I wanted to challenge him on a little bit in our interview. And maybe he was leery of speaking with me because he probably knew I was going to put him on the spot talking about things of that nature. But anyways, yeah, to answer your question, I have met him. Seemed like a nice guy, but totally brushed me off when it came to an interview. Bill Hicks says, yeah, Dan, what about aliens? Somebody else must have asked. You've talked about God, but what are your thoughts on aliens? I have not really seen any evidence of aliens. Anything I have has been kind of ridiculous hoaxes and things of that nature. I never really got into the research on UFOs and things of that nature, other than my exposure to some of that in Bill Cooper's earlier works, like when I was reading Beyond a Pale Horse. But in my opinion, most of these things are top secret military, human um, technologies and possibly even life forms that are created here on Earth. Um, I'm not ruling anything out. Don't get me wrong. I have an open mind to these things, but I just haven't seen any kind of evidence of any truth to any of that. Um, let's see what else we got. A lot of comments. Thank you so much, everybody, for the shout outs. All right, I'm not seeing too many other questions. Are you in Alabama? Nope, I am in Squamish, British Columbia. Beautiful Squamish, British Columbia. Boiler Room Radio. Dan, your interview with Ed Asner was epic. I pray that it goes viral. Thank you. I really hope it goes viral too. I thought there was pretty solid information in that video. I spent the whole night. I stayed up all night editing it. Probably took me like a good 8 to 10 hours of editing on that one. To find all that footage. Man, going over all the 9/11 stuff again really gets my blood boiling. It's so crazy what they did. I just, it boggles the mind that people think that it happened in the way that the government says it happened. I mean, I'm watching the footage again, in the last few days. I've made documentaries about this. As you guys know, I produced the Toronto hearings on 9/11, a 6-hour long DVD. We also put out a shortened version, a 2-hour version on YouTube called Decade of Deception, which now has, I think, 1.2 million views or something like that. A lot of great information. So I've been covering this a long time, and just in the process of editing the Ed Asner video, I had to, relive watching all this stuff, and it ticks me off and boggles my mind what took place there. Especially when you watch the collapse of the Twin Towers. The I, one of the towers, I think it was the North Tower, that went down like just a couple hours after being hit by the plane, and it just exploding. Huge chunks projecting way out and then disintegrating in midair, and you just watch the thing. It's like, how can people believe that collapsed due to fires? It's crazy what they pulled off. Unbelievable. And I really want to spend more time on getting to the bottom of 9/11, getting the truth out about the holes in the official narrative. I'm never gonna let that one go. I want to do more on that for sure. So yeah, I'm glad you liked the interview. When I heard Ed Asner was in town, I was like, great opportunity to raise more awareness about what happened on 9/11 and what didn't happen on 9/11. And when you have a celebrity of his stature, it helps to bring the information out to the masses. So yeah, you're right. I also pray that it goes viral. Why doesn't Alex Jones talk about 9/11 truth anymore? I don't know. You'd have to ask Alex Jones. I don't know that he doesn't talk about it anymore. Maybe not as much as he used to. There's so many other things going on now, and but I honestly don't pay too much attention to him anymore. I haven't watched him in a long time. That being said, I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. He had a big part to do in my awakening process, and in fact, he inspired me to do what I'm doing today. I often say if that man was never born, hypothetically, I probably literally would not be sitting here doing this right now. He has influenced me that much. But, things have changed over the years. I think fame and money can do interesting things to people. And I think he's been somewhat corrupted in that sense on a spiritual level. I don't think he's controlled opposition or anything like that, but I do think he's been compromised in the sense that his ego has kind of taken over a little bit. I got some sun glare. Lighting's been changing, I guess, constantly. Let me make sure we're still good to go. It's been a beautiful day, so I figured I'd do this broadcast outside. Alright, that looks alright. What is that? Hang on. Sorry, guys. Alright, there we go. It's a little bit better. There we go. No more glare. Lee says, since when did Alex Jones promote a president? I know, man. Like, for a guy who's been exposing the false left-right paradigm for as long as he has, to all of a sudden just throw that all out the window and start promoting the president of the United States or someone who he thinks can come in and, defeat the deep state is mind-boggling. But again, I think his ego overtook his rationality there. Somebody says Dan flashes more Masonic hand signs than Trump. Oh, that's pretty funny. I've been getting that, over the years, and it's obviously not something that I'm trying to do. In fact, lately I try so hard not to do it. I very, very comfortably often touch my fingers together, when I'm speaking and when I'm making videos. And some people have pointed out, because I'm, holding my hands low, that it looks like I'm making a triangle with my fingers. And maybe you'll notice lately, I really don't want to do that. It's not happening on purpose. Again, it's just comfortable for me to do. So lately you'll see I hold my hands and I kind of play with my fingers like this now. It's also comfortable, but there's less chance of me accidentally flashing some sort of Masonic hand sign, which is obviously not what I'm about. I've been exposing the Freemasons. I've made many, many, many videos on that. Just go look at my video where I went into the grand headquarters in Washington, D.C. of the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, where they don't let anybody film anymore in there after what I did. I went on a tour and I filmed the whole thing. Did a big expose. Check it out. It's called, what did I title it? Enter the House of the Temple, I think. So just use the YouTube search feature on my channel and look up Enter the House of the Temple. And watch, that's just one of my exposés on Freemasonry. So yeah, any Freemasonic hand signs that you see me throwing up is purely accidental. And I am actually being more cautious of being careful not to accidentally do something like that anymore. All sorts of things. If I say, something like this has zero to do with that, I no longer say zero like this because people are like, oh my God, you're flashing the 666. Now I'm very cautious to make a zero like that. Again, these are, I'm very well aware of these hand signs and how they're used in the occult and in the world of the elite. And yeah, I've accidentally done one before because it's just a natural way for me to hold my hands and things like that. But yeah, I'm trying to be more cautious of that, just so I don't get people like you accusing me of it. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let me just hop on back over to the steemit. Can't forget about my fellow Steemians who've been watching me live for the last hour. Gonna refresh that. Steemit post is up to $15. 15 SBD, I should say. 15 Steam dollars, which I'll get about half of in 7 days from now. That's 7 SBD, which is trading at around $3 US, so that's $21 US. That's probably around 25 bucks Canadian that I've already made on this post on Steemit. It's awesome. It's been supplementing my income that I've lost from the YouTube adpocalypse, which is totally fine. I mean, screw Google and YouTube. They can keep their money anyways. I'm much, much happier to be getting contributions from you, the viewers, directly through your upvotes on Steemit, or by, joining my Patreon or my Patreon alternative, patreon.com/pressfortruth, or pressfortruth.ca/donate, where people can sign up for a monthly amount. You can contribute cryptocurrencies if you like, or fiat, PayPal. Yeah, that's where it's at. Screw YouTube and their ad revenues. All right. Freeman Reporter says, any new Bilderberg developments? Great question. Glad to have you watching. Let me give you a vote up on that one. Throw some SBD your way. There's not really been any new developments since my last announcement of what's going on in Italy. However, I did have a friend of mine who lives in Turin, or I think he's in Bologna, or I don't know how you pronounce it, Bologna, Italy. And he's not that far away from Turin, and I asked him to go to the hotel in question about a month ago, and he went in and he inquired about if he could book, a stay during the June 7th to 10th, and they said they're all booked up, and he said, is that because of Bilderberg? And he tells me that their reaction, they weren't like, Bilderberg? What's Bilderberg? They nodded in agreement. They didn't say yes, but they were like, so there was no hesitation. They knew exactly what Bilderberg was. He asked them if that's what it's about. They nodded and said yes. So I'm starting to lean towards the fact that it will be in Turin and not, in fact, Venice. That's where I'm leaning with this. So I haven't quite booked my ticket just yet, but I will be soon, and I'm pretty confident that it is going to, in fact, be Turin and not Venice. So I guess that's kind of the latest update. Getting some more sun glare, so let me just turn this a little bit. And Freeman Reporter, if you guys are not following his work, check it out. He does great work. Go to my Steemit, steemit.com/@pressfortruth, and look him up in the comments section. I'm going to be joining him later in June in Bulgaria. He's invited me to speak at an event in Bulgaria. So I'm going to be going there to do a presentation on independent media and decentralized platforms and cryptocurrencies and how they work with independent media and things of that nature. So yeah, I'll be seeing you in Bulgaria in June. All right, let me see if we have any other questions or comments on the Steemit. Somebody says, hey there, never saw you on YouTube, found you on Steemit in 2 weeks, just saying hi, great job, I like it. Thank you, glad you like it, glad you found me on Steemit, that's cool. Alright. Let me close a couple of these windows here. Close this, close that. Go back to the Steemit chat. We've been going for over an hour now. My lovely fiance is probably getting ready to go. We're going to be driving into the city soon. Maybe she'll come out and say hi. And maybe I can bring my... I usually end these broadcasts, not that I'm going to end it right now, but I usually like to get my dog in on the show. We got an awesome little dog. His name's Kaiser. He's a Havanese. Love him to death. He's so amazing. We bring him to the city, and just walking around with him, he brings so many smiles to people's faces. And when we go into certain stores and stuff, all the staff are always all over him. Oh my God, he's so cute, and he is. He's just awesome. If you don't have a dog, I'd highly recommend it. Brings so much joy to our lives. There she is. There he is. Want to say hi? Have a seat. This is my lovely fiance Molly and our awesome little Kaiser. Look at this guy. I mean, isn't he just the best? He kind of needs a
haircut.
A haircut right now.
He's a mess, but he looks cute.
Yeah, he's kind of shaggy, but we don't mind. We let him get a little bit shaggy because it's super cute, and then we usually do like the puppy cut thing, and get him shaved down, like all the way down. All right, I'm going to chick magnet, says Kyle Reese. Yeah, I've already got a chick, as you can tell, so doing just fine in that department. If you guys have any questions for Molly too, let us know while we're here. She is working at Grassroots Medicinal. She works at a dispensary and works for an award. Well, she's apprenticing as an award-winning grower, as a matter of fact. So
for one, not as one. But
yeah, for one. So very, very knowledgeable in the cannabis space.
I do my best.
She is a babe. Yep. I am blessed. I am lucky. Okay. I'm going to quickly refresh the steemit chat, see if we have any other comments coming in from there. Where did I put that? Here we go. And then we may wrap this one up pretty soon. As I said, we're getting ready to head into the city today. Freeman says, nice work on that. I already booked my ticket, though I'm flexible. See you in June. Awesome. So I'll see you at Bilderberg in June. Sounds good. K. Gentle says, please comment on the Pedogate revelations. Yeah, I've done a few videos on the what's been happening in that regards, which has been awesome. A lot of people being busted. A lot of these operations are on the go right now, and it's been fantastic to see. Obviously, a lot of these guys being shut down. So I don't know what else there is to say other than it's great. The crackdown we're seeing. Lee says hi.
Oh, hey, Lise.
Somebody here says, what are your thoughts on QAnon? And are you familiar with Cicada 3301? All right. My thoughts on Q are, you may not like my answer, but here we go. I'm very highly skeptical. I don't trust Q whatsoever. I don't like the cryptic riddle-styled information. To me, it seems like a lot of limited hangout type stuff, where there's a little bit of truth. The predictions that have allegedly been made are not hard to see these certain things coming down the road. And when you put out as much stuff as he does, or she, or they, or it, whatever this thing is, they probably, you're gonna hit sometimes. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. But to answer your question, I do not trust QAnon whatsoever, and nor should you trust these faceless entities. I've always had a problem with things like Anonymous and, like the Black Bloc, I've exposed in my film Into the Fire for, the very fact that it can be infiltrated, you can have undercovers in there. It's same with QAnon. I really don't trust Q at all. So I really haven't been paying a lot of attention, which is probably why I'm not familiar with Cicada 3301. So maybe you can enlighten me to what that is. Somebody says, you are swamped on YouTube. I'll vote you up here on steemit. Thank you, Groovy One. Less crazy. Anywho, after your report with Kavork, I have been following him. I want more. Any possibility we'll get a possible Syria Insider Q&A with your viewers while on chat with Beely, Bartlett, Almazian. Syria needs updates. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have just been talking to Eva Bartlett. I think that's her last name. Just in my email a couple of days ago. We're supposed to do a new video on Syria any day now. I'm just waiting for her to get back to me to confirm, because she's currently in Damascus. As we know, there was some strikes in Syria just a few days ago, allegedly coming from Israeli forces. So I want to have Eva on to talk about that. I definitely want to do an update with Kavork Almazian. He's been a great wealth of knowledge on Syria, in what's been going on there. And yes, I will be speaking with some journalists embedded on the grounds in Syria within the next couple of days. I don't know about live or a Q&A or anything like that. It's a little trickier to set something like that up, especially with the time zones. But yes, stay tuned for that. I will have some Syrian updates coming very, very soon. Probably my next video, in fact. All right, guys, we've been going for about almost an hour and a half. It might be a good time to call it. Someone says, Dan, what's the deal with Armenian Revolution? I'm not sure what's the deal with that. But I will certainly look into that. What do you think Netanyahu will do to stay out of jail? Start a war? Yeah, this guy is getting crazy. I recall the press conference he gave about Iran having nukes holding up like the the bomb. Looked like cartoonish. Well, I think we're going to see more of that in the coming days. As I said, Iran is in the crosshairs, and all it takes for someone like that to stay out of jail, as you say, is to launch another war, because order out of chaos is their modus operandi. That's how they gain control. And if something, any kind of prosecutions are coming down the pipe for a man like that, he could certainly shift the narrative into something more serious by launching a war. And Iran is in the crosshairs. Syria is certainly in their crosshairs. As I said, it looks like Israel just bombed Syria a few days ago. That's unconfirmed. Don't quote me on that. But again, I'm going to be speaking with some journalists embedded on the grounds in Syria to hopefully get to the bottom of that. Somebody says, Press for Truth, how did you meet Molly? That's an interesting question. We met at a rally in Toronto. May Day rally. It was like 5 years ago yesterday, actually. May Day. And Molly at the time was into the Occupy movement quite a bit. And I was covering these things. And she approached me at a rally. She was a nervous, bumbling, nervous fan who wanted my autograph and wanted my picture.
Yeah.
And worked up the courage to come and ask me for those things. And I was like, yeah, sure. I signed the back of her coat.
Still have that coat, actually. My Occupy nerd jacket.
And, yeah, so she approached me at a rally, and then And then, well, she lived in London and I lived in Toronto, so these are quite far. We didn't have a car at the time or anything like that. So she kind of,
I would take the Greyhound to see him every single weekend.
yeah, she visited me every weekend and kind of persistently pursued. Not that I wasn't not interested, but yeah.
I'm amazed he was even halfway interested because my head was such a mess back then, but he kind of helped me along. Yeah.
Yeah, Molly was slightly kind of socialist leaning back in those days.
Slightly. I was like a communist.
Practically a communist.
Okay, just to explain, I just wanted to feed the world, and I didn't really think about how it doesn't make sense to steal money from good people to feed starving people. Like, it doesn't really make any sense. But
Yeah.
I was just very blinded by the fact that I just saw a problem. Didn't really care how we fixed it. I just wanted to fix it.
Yeah, and I guess over time, spending more time with me, she started to realize that capitalism is not the problem.
Yeah, no.
Communism and more socialized systems are not the answer.
And we need freedom if we're ever going to get anything proper or straight on this planet.
Yeah. And then we started dating officially, and then, made it official, and that was like 4 years ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just got engaged.
Yeah.
I took her back to the
very spot where we met on May Day.
Yeah, we were walking around in Toronto. She just thought we were just like
reminiscing
or whatever, and I was just like, hey, let's go down to the area where my condo used to be and where that rally was, where we met and stuff. She's like, oh yeah, cool, let's check it out. It'll be like walking down memory lane. It'll be neat. And then when we got to the spot where we first met, like on that day, I proposed to her right where we first met.
It was crazy awesome. But yeah, to answer your question, we met on May Day. What would that have been like? 2011. At the May Day rally.
2012, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
I
that
believe.
makes more sense. Yep. And yeah, it's been awesome ever since that day. But yeah, our meeting was pretty insane because I was very nervous, and I had been a big fan of dance since like 2009. So yeah, it was just kind of crazy.
Yep. All right. Molly, can you have a tattoo with my name? Truth matters. That's a pretty good one.
It's a good name, but I'm kind of done with the tattoos, so nice suggestion though.
Yep. What's your favorite bar in Vancouver? Says 61 Third. We're not really into the bar scene.
No.
Don't really have time for the bar scene. I don't have a favorite bar. What we like to do when we go to the city, which we're going to do as soon as this live broadcast is over, is we're going to go have some pho or pho.
Pho, however you want to say it.
But
that's our big thing. Not really bars, but
Vietnamese
really
restaurants.
good pho places.
Yeah. We don't have that here where we live right now. So we got to drive all the way to Vancouver just to get a good.
It's worth it.
It is worth it. That's what we're into. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna end this one. We've been going for an hour and a half, as I said.
That soup is dank. I love that. That was awesome. Nice comment.
Yeah. Flan? Which flan?
Flan. So that is dessert, I believe. I'd have to look it up. I don't really recall right now what a flan is, but
yeah.
I know it's good. I know when I had it, I liked it.
If that's a question, I'm just gonna say not for me. Just because I'm on a health kick lately. Yeah. I'm getting in shape. I've been working out, exercising every single day, eating really, really healthy. I've gave myself a 1-year goal. I started this on July 11th, so I'm pretty close to that date, and I'm pretty close to reaching my goal.
Mm-hmm. But I may have a creme brulee somewhere today.
Yeah, she eats a little differently than me. But I'm on a mission to get, really in shape. And if you look at my videos before July 11th of 2017, you'll see just how much weight I've lost. I think I've already dropped about 30 pounds in the last 10 months.
Oh,
So,
and it's just a complete like body change, let alone the weight itself. You just look at you and it's like a completely different body type.
I feel so much better. I guess I look a little more healthier, and I definitely feel better.
Which I'd like to remind the audience here, since I have a captive audience, take care of yourselves. In your 20s, you treat yourself like garbage. It's not recommended, but in your 30s, you need to really get into gear because it's going to be an expensive road to recovery if you just never. I just recently quit smoking a year ago. Dan's on this health kick, and yeah, we're just starting to realize like a lot of the people we know in our same age group are like suffering medical wise, like with their health, and so it's just really important. Get into gear now, that way you don't have to spend an arm and a leg trying to get your arms and legs back
Yeah.
into shape.
Yeah, it's only going to get harder and harder as you get older. And we're getting older.
Yep.
I'm 38, Molly's 37.
Yep.
So we're at that point where
we're still young, but it's just important now to get into gear. Get it sorted out now before you have to start worrying about it.
Yeah. Lee says get off the sugar.
Absolutely. I still have a problem with that a little bit, but I'm at least diligent enough to know, like, okay, so I gotta like watch how much sugar I have in a day. I still have it, but I'm kind of more cognizant. Trying to do honey more. I found medicated honey, CBD infused honey, that I really enjoy putting in stuff instead of sugars. So that's kind of a nice benefit because it's a little more natural.
Somebody says, but what about bacon? I know.
No, bacon is good. And I think if you have it in moderation, you can still have the treats. You just have to really consider moderation whenever you're doing that. So bacon's still okay. I think definitely okay. Plus we've been told like fats are bad. That's nonsense. Fats are good. Fats make food taste good. And so what the industry has done is taken all the fat out of your food and replace it with sugar. That is not what you want to be doing. Keep the fat in your food. That's a natural taste that we need, and just drop the sugar. That's, I think, the goal here. And to get CBD in your diet, even if you don't like cannabis, CBD is non-psychoactive, and it's going to help you age better. Everyone ages better with CBD.
Somebody says 90% of the time eat right, 10% eat what you want.
Yeah, that's
not a bad rule.
Not a bad ratio. You might want to go a little.
Funny enough, the eating healthy is what I want. I've been really enjoying my.
Your taste buds change, right? After you stop eating garbage and you start eating only good, healthy, clean foods, you start to realize like you'll eat something terrible and it won't even taste good anymore because your palate has totally done the reverse. It's not wanting and craving high sugar anymore. So
I've been eating a lot of salads, a lot of broccoli and things like that for pretty much every dinner for every night. I'm not getting sick of it. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I still look forward to every meal. You know, even though I'm eating the same thing practically, you know, it's great. I love it. All right. I'm going to see if there's any more questions here. Couple more comments. Eat what you want. Take comprehensive supplements. It's never ever too late. Somebody says a bit of more weed will fix you right up. Somebody else says don't smoke weed. In fact, that's something that's interesting. I've been consuming cannabis on a daily basis since I was 13 years old or so. Pretty much every video you've seen me do since 2006, every interview, I smoked weed that day. But funny enough, I decided to take a hiatus. I am currently on a weed smoking hiatus. I decided to go 90 days. Haven't gone that long without smoking since I was probably 13 years old.
Straight high on life, yo.
Yeah, I'm no smoking, no drinking, sober-minded, and I'm on 2 months now, so I got 1 more to go, and I gotta be honest. I mean, you know, in the beginning I couldn't sleep very well. That's one thing I noticed when I stopped smoking. But I'm sleeping better now.
Yeah, that lasted like how long?
But
like a week.
I'm not feeling like overly awesome by not smoking. Like the the benefits are outweighing. I mean, I think I get more benefits from it. It's not making me less productive. I'm still very productive when I smoke, and I think I'm missing out on some of the medicinal benefits. But I wanted to try it. I just wanted to see how I'd feel.
It's good to cleanse, but yeah, I think that there are things in cannabis. Well, we're starting to realize that there are the cannabinoids in there. Like your body is wanting these things. Your body needs these things, and like I was saying earlier, even if you're not doing cannabis that's psychoactive, if you're just strictly doing CBD, there's so much benefit to that. Not only for your peace of mind, your body and your mind's well-being, but also aging with cannabis. So we're starting to realize the more research that we're being allowed to do now is that women lose bone density as we age, and it's like pretty significant. You end up crippled because of it in some cases. CBD builds bone density, like that's huge. It helps with muscle when your muscles need to be repaired, when you've gone through an issue or you just suffer from atrophy and you're trying to rebuild muscle density. It'll help you do that. It helps with your cognitive state of mind. So like I said, it's non-psychoactive. So I like to call it clarity in a bottle. A lot of people don't smoke CBD. They actually just ingest it through a tincture. So you're not even having to smoke the cannabis plant itself. So
Yeah, which is a better way to go.
Especially if you're worried about your lungs. Although I will say that a lot of medical professionals are starting to realize that cannabis smoke actually doesn't really do a whole lot of damage to the lungs. It's very minimal damage that would be the equivalent of having a cough for a number of days in a row. And then once you stopped the coughing, all that would repair itself. So the minimal amount of damage that ingesting smoked plant matter is actually doing to your lungs is totally, you're able to repair that damage, and it's minimal at best for even a heavy smoker. So we're starting to find out a lot of things that you're being told about smoking cannabis are absolutely insanely wrong.
Mm-hmm. Somebody says Dan is against Mary Jane.
No.
No, very, very much so. Quite the opposite.
Cleanses are very good to do once in a while. It doesn't mean that you no longer like cannabis or that you don't think people should ingest it. It's just that every once in a while, too, even for just tolerance purposes, you end up with a high tolerance to cannabis if you're doing it a lot, which means you could end up spending more money on it. So doing a cleanse like Dan's done is really helpful for just keeping it as a viable thing in your life, so you're not spending a ton of money. Also, just certain times it would be beneficial to cleanse, like if you're going to leave the country and you're not going to have access to your medicine. Some people can't cleanse because there are problems, like they may be sick or they may have so much pain that doing a cleanse would just be absolutely traumatic. But I think for most people who are healthy, cleanses are a good thing. So.
And I'm a strong supporter of the community. I mean, one of our biggest sponsors here at Press for Truth is Liberty Farms, libertyfarms.ca, grassrootsmedicinal.ca, and cannagrowers.ca. They've been promoting their work for a number of years now, and fully in support of the cannabis community here in Canada. We want to see it not go in the way that it's going. Overly the regulations are crazy. As I pointed out many times, it's not legalization. They're just trying to monopolize the industry. So we work with the people who try to fight out against that and see to it that legalization is going to move in a direction where it's going to actually benefit the growers and the consumers. So yeah, I'm heavily involved in that.
Hillary causes cancer.
Hillary causes cancer, yeah.
Yes, I would definitely recommend cannabis for multiple sclerosis.
Absolutely.
A lot of people who suffer from nerve or any kind of spasmodic issues, even just the neurological aspect of it can definitely help just calm the mind and the spirit. So, yeah.
Stay away from that big pharma weed, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to be doing that. And just going on that I don't want to get into a big legalization talk, but you may want to look at what's going on with BC legalization, with Ontario, with regards to Canada and cannabis in general, because a lot of people are getting really confused about what this actually means for the cannabis community. It's all kinds of bad. The government's just trying to monopolize on the industry and not want to play fair with the people who created it. So just hoping that more people will look into that. Because if we get into that now, that could be another hour or two. So I don't want to get big into it. But if you have any questions, what websites do we have right now? So, like, you can come into the shop, come into Grassroots, ask us anything. We're always available for questions. As long as the store's not jam-packed with customers, we can definitely sit and chat with you. And then there's cannagrowers.ca.
Yeah, cannagrowers.ca is a great one to go to show your support. Somebody asked, how are them dreams? You must know what it's like
right.
to...
he actually remembers his dreams.
I'm dreaming like crazy now. I dream every single night, every morning, and it's like long, vivid storylines of dreams that connect with one another. And if I wake up and then fall back asleep, I'll get right back into the same dream. And every single day I'm having dreams now where I didn't, I wasn't before.
Well, you still have them, you just don't remember them. And like me, I'm still heavy smoking and eating it a lot. I eat like 200 milligrams of oil a night pretty much to sleep because of my insomnia. And so I've dreamed though. Like I just was telling Dan about a weird dream I had this morning. So it's different for everybody. It's not like you stop dreaming when you consume cannabis. It's just you're less likely to remember any of it.
All right, guys. I think that's time to call it. We're going to say our goodbyes. Somebody says, thanks for everything, Dan, PFT peeps. Congratulations to both you and the dogger. Many blessings. Thank you so much for that. Hello from Sechelt. I don't know how to pronounce that. Alexander, if you're just tuning in, sorry, brother.
We're peacing out.
We're peacing out. We're going to call it. It's been an hour. Boiler Room says, Dan, I sent you a tweet. Thank you. I will check that out as soon as we're done. Mindy says, God bless you all. Goodbye, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you do like the work that we do,
bye, Kaiser.
Yeah,
everybody say goodbye to Kaiser.
Gotta say goodbye to our little buddy Kaiser. Look at him. Hey, right, buddy?
He's so cute.
Let's get him a better close up. Hey, look over here. You can see right up into the camera.
Kaiser.
So that's our little guy. Again, if you guys like the work we're doing here at Press for Truth, you want to show your support, check us out at pressfortruth.ca/donate. If you want to contribute, again, like I said, you can contribute good old-fashioned fiat cash through PayPal, or you can donate cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin or any other other cryptos. You can join as a PFT patron or the PFT alternative Patreon alternative, where you can contribute a monthly amount. Any amount certainly helps. It goes towards me being able to produce daily video content and continue this channel going, especially in the face of the YouTube adpocalypse. I really appreciate anyone's support. So check the links in the description below to find out how you can get involved in that regards. Let me just really quickly refresh the steemit. Make sure we're all good to go there. And yeah, I'm up to $18 Steam dollars. That's pretty awesome. All right, no new questions on the steemit, so I think we're gonna call it. Our dog is ready to go. We're ready to go get our foe on.
I'm hungry.
Fa.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and keep fighting the good fight.
Bye, world.
Peace.